How demons, jinns, and dark entities influence people. Whom do they attack and why? They attack anyone and everyone who unwittingly allows it. They've been known to enter into people experimenting with Ouija boards, EVP, and playing around with satanic rituals and books. Victims of severe physical, emotional, spiritual, or sexual abuse are prime targets. They are already primed to feel bad about themselves. Extreme cases of attacks are labeled paranoid schizophrenia by the psychiatric community, but everyday common people like you and I are subject to attacks too. You need to know that being attacked does not mean you are crazy. It does not mean you are mentally ill. There's no malfunction of your brain. Saying otherwise would be like saying that robbery or rape victims are mentally ill. They were attacked, and so were you. Why do they drain people's energy? The negative energy produced by negative emotion is their food source. If they can get you to generate negative feelings, it is that negative emotion upon which they feast. It may sound bizarre, but it is absolutely true. It is the reason vampire movies subconsciously shake us to our core. These entities are energy vampires. The most important thing to know is that they do not want you to know that they invade your mind and are energy parasites. These entities need negative emotional energy to survive. How do they do this? They get you to generate negative emotions for their consumption by inserting negative, guilt-ridden, fearful, or distressing thoughts into your mind, then urge you to believe and respond to those thoughts as if they are true. They are sly and use trickery and lies to manipulate you into hearing, sensing, or feeling something troublesome or fearful. Evidence of their activity becomes clear to the average person when an unwelcome, intrusive thought barges into your mind out of nowhere. It's a thought so repulsive that, on your own, you would never have come up with such ugliness, and you certainly have no intention of acting on it. You intuitively feel that such a thought is wrong, not yours, and does not belong in your mind. So think about this. If it's not your intention to bring up such a thought, entertain it, or act upon it, then from where did it originate? If it's not you and doesn't belong in your head, then it has come from outside of you. Ignoring it makes it stronger. Confronting it with, "That's a lie," causes it to leave in most cases. If you don't believe it is a lie, then the thought may linger, so say the phrase, "That's a lie," again, and mean it. Are people helpless against this? No. You are not helpless against these things, but you do need to get your head out of the sand, realize they exist, and get to know how your enemy operates. There are many things you can do to fight back and eventually reach a point where you can live your life without their interference and attacks. If things are constantly going wrong in your life, there is a high probability you are under attack. How are they successful with so many people? They are successful when you assume their thought implants belong to you and are your thoughts. They will tell you they are your thoughts. Once you become aware of this parasitic enemy and the games it plays, you don't have to buy into anything that is not you and not from you or higher spiritual sources. This is not a physical war, it's a spiritual one, and it's as serious as it gets. Do they have access to my memory? It may surprise you to know that these parasites have complete access to your memory. In the case of one patient, they brought up guilt-ridden behavior that she had forgotten for years. They can and will find the most negative and guilt-provoking incidents they can find in your memory and bring them to your awareness, then continue to rub your transgressions in your face. Until you forgive yourself, this kind of attack will continue to generate negative emotions. All negative thoughts they insert into your mind about yourself are custom designed to make you feel guilty, angry, worthless, helpless, and hopeless. Remember the times you've obsessed over past transgressions and just couldn't get something you'd done wrong out of your mind? If only I had not done that and said this, things would be different. If only I could take that back, life would be better. If only I'd been there, this would not have happened. Sound familiar? This is them at work. The longer they can keep you beating yourself up, the more negative energy you generate, and the larger the feast you provide for these parasites. They then use your life energy against you, fostering conflict and turmoil, and insisting others can't be trusted. Are we all subject to this? Although we are all subject to these negative thought attacks, most of us aren't aware of what they truly are, where they come from, or what is happening to us. After flogging ourselves with our transgressions, we feel drained. Our energy is depleted. We haven't been doing any physical exercise that would account for the depletion. The masters of negative thought, paranoid schizophrenics, intuitively know what these things are. They consistently report that when the voices attack, they can feel their energy leaving and are left mentally and physically exhausted. After such attacks, some reported not having enough energy to even get out of bed. The energy drain phenomenon among these patients is consistent. Experiments carried out demonstrated that this drain is not due to the high anxiety state generated by the nasty voices. It's due to these energy parasites, evil entities, energy vampires, demons, dark side spirits, feeding on the negative energy they provoke the patient to generate. It's a serious robbery of their life force. Why don't doctors know about this? For eons, these patients have been telling doctors that the voices they hear are very real, that they are demons. Psychiatry continues to insist their voices are hallucinations due to a chemical brain imbalance for which they have no proof. Not only are the many hundreds of these patients reporting the demonic voices they hear to be very real, but psychiatry's assumption that they are hallucinations flies in the face of new, observable, and overwhelming evidence to the contrary. The fact that the voices these patients experience do not even remotely act like normal hallucinations is staring the priests of mental health in the face, yet they refuse to see. Blinded by drug company reports and the profits garnered by big pharmacy, the priestly authorities have their ivory tower-installed blinders firmly fixed and continue to douse these poor souls with toxic tranquilizers that slowly destroy their nervous systems. What does the average person experience? When we look at the average person, she won't be experiencing anything as dramatic or severe as schizophrenics do with very clear voices ordering them to do dastardly, self-destructive things. The average person will experience persistent self-blame and thoughts and feelings of guilt or being unworthy. To Joe and Jane Normal, the experience of being attacked becomes clear in situations such as the following. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, and unrelated to anything you'd been thinking previously, a thought barges into your mind which is so terrible you recoil in shock and revolt. How could I even think such a thing? You tell yourself. Every cell in your body rebels against the repulsive thought. Intuitively, you feel it is an alien, a foreign intrusion, but your rational mind won't allow you to believe such a thing and you simply shake it off and reject it. When such insurrections barge into and invade our consciousness, you may shudder and wonder, where did that come from? This is a clear example of what it feels like to be attacked and have a thought inserted that does not belong to you, urging you to act on it. Many times it is a thought of revenge, which is a behavior akin to pouring gasoline on a fire. As mentioned above, these entities have complete access to your memory, and because they do, these negative thought insertions are often personalized to tear open past psychic wounds and generate the most poisonous negative emotion possible. You need to be aware that virtually every negative thought about yourself that pops into your mind comes from these negative entities in an attempt to get you to feel bad about yourself. Every bad thing these negative entities tell you about yourself is a lie, every time. Always remember you are stronger and more powerful than them.